Hello, YouTube. This is Brett from Agents Discovery, and I made another significant, I call it breakthrough, or maybe a good feature to have for AI voice agents. And my name is Brett. I'm from agentsdiscovery.com. I started that about 2 or 3 months ago as of recording this, and I've been working on voice agents ever since. And so, what I wanted to share today is I've discovered with the voice agents, capturing an email during a call is not easy. This can be for a number of reasons. You don't know the AI agent can't record the correct email, or even when the agent records an email and reads it back to the caller, it's still wrong somehow, even though the caller agrees it's correct. And once when we do that, we correct an incorrect email, or when we record an incorrect email, bookings and any other workflows that need that email, they just don't work. So this approach is an all or nothing kind of approach I've taken to this problem, in that if I can't get the correct email, I'm either going to get it right or I'm going to get nothing right. So that's what I'm sharing today. And I thought this was a big deal. I thought this was a huge, significant win for me, and that's why I'm recording the video. It's not much on the configuration side, but I will show kind of how to implement it in SynthFlow. And so what my approach is on all these voice agents is I don't use a lot of workflows, or I try to avoid workflows as much as I can, and give the AI agent as many tools or API calls. That's what tools, that's what tools are. We're calling them tools that the agent can use live during the call. I think that's the best approach to go, and I've been sticking with it ever since. And so, what this API call does specifically is, um, if we don't get a correct email or deliverable email, we stop in the call. The agent stops, and the agent will not continue until it gets the recording of the email correctly. Now, this could be any number of reasons. Maybe the caller made something up or didn't quite remember. Whatever the reason is, the recording is incorrect. Usually it's the agent not understanding the email, and they can go back and forth a few times. Hopefully this technology gets better. It can only get better from here, right? Well, at least I hope. So what this does is I'm using what's called Abstract API, and this is it right here. This is not free. There might be cheaper, more, free ways to do this. I just don't know. I just know this works and it's fast. So all Abstract API does, well, all I'm using it for, there's a couple other features over here on the verify. It verifies an email validation. Okay. And so what we're looking at right here is a simple API call, and you have to pay, I think it's $10 a month for an API key that grants you access to the endpoint. And it's a real simple API call. It's right here, and you just put in your key, and then you put in your email, and then you give your agent access to this call in SynthFlow or Bland AI or whatever you're doing. And it's super fast. I mean, we're talking, it's as soon as you send the call, it gets a response back instantly. So what I've done here is I'll go to Jessica. That's who I usually talk about here on my channel. And if you have any questions about this setup and what I've done here, I'll leave Jessica's number in the description. Call Jessica. She'll set up some time on Agents Discovery calendar, and I should be there. People are starting to do that now. So we're going to go on to the actions for Jessica, and again, we're in SynthFlow, and then it's during the call. So these are all the kind of API calls, or tools, as they call them, that Jessica has access to. And today we're focusing. That's hard to say. We're focusing on the deliverable email action. Okay, so we're going to go to this action. Again, it's real simple. There's an endpoint. That endpoint's provided by abstractapi.com. It's not free. It's about $10 a month. I find it super valuable, so I'm paying for it. It's just a get, and there's your endpoint. Authentication's in the actual endpoint. And you have one variable, that's email. I have a description here. This is the email provider in the call. You must make sure this is deliverable before it's used for anything else. And that's the description of the variable. And then if we go back to connect the API and we go to the end of the endpoint, I getting better at these real-time variables that go in the URL of API requests. And so that's all it is right there at the end. You have your variable and then your key and value. So there's your key and there's your value, and the value is a variable, and that variable is in the configure tab here called email. There's a description, and then here's an example. That's just how SynthFlow works. And here's a description. I gave it name deliverable email. Here's, you can read that if you want. Pause the video. That's the description I gave it for the AI to interpret what it's doing. And yeah, so then here you can test it. Again, down here, I'm in the results. So you have to, in these API calls, you specify which results or output of the API call or tool the agent has access to. And so that is supposed to improve performance. I haven't tested it. I just kind of, it makes sense to me. So I limit how much of the output of the API the agent can see or use. And all I care about is the deliverable, undeliverable message. And then as you can see, when you test it, Brett agentsdiscovery.com, initialize, boom, that's quick. I mean, you see how fast that is. And then so you get a success and you get a status of deliverable. And that's all I want the agent to see is deliverable, undeliverable. That's it. So that's it for the call. Now we're going to go back to the agent itself, Jessica. And then now this is going to affect the prompt a little bit. Go to our prompt. And let me find where it goes in the prompt. I'm not using the workflow new tree builder prompt yet. This is still working very good in my opinion, this old way of doing it. Okay, so right here's the prompt. And that is pretty much it. So right there in the prompt, we have a couple things. We have in SynthFlow, if you use the hashtag or pound sign for us old people, you use the pound, SynthFlow will automatically give you a list and a pop-up in the typing of the prompt, all the API calls that are configured that are available. So I say always use this API or tool to make sure, and then you put the specific piece or the specific output from the API tool that you want them to use. Always make sure that this result equals deliverable. And so what that does is during the call, as soon as the agent's told an email, it records it and then it sends this call and it gets deliverable or undeliverable. And then if it's undeliverable, it keeps asking for it again and again. And that's solving the problem of just incorrect emails being recorded during a call. And that's what I've discovered in my testing and a lot of my conversations that my two agents have been having is they just sort of get one or two characters wrong, especially if there's like two L's next to each other or maybe a weird number or letter combination that kind of looks like a L and a 9. But typically it's two letters next to each other. It'll either just add one or three. So if an email has two L's in it, it'll add one, or it'll add three L's in it, and instead of the two that it's the correct one. And again, all that does is prevent them from moving forward. And it says, "Oh, looks like I got something wrong. Can we please try again?" So yeah, that's what I found. I did this yesterday as of recording this on March 28th, 2025, and that was a big breakthrough for me. I think that's important, and I thought it was worth sharing video and a little quick update here on live bookings. You wouldn't think that someone could work on real-time booking for so long and work through all these test cases, but as the more you test it, the more you find out you have to fix. Again, I'll leave Jessica's phone number at the bottom of the video. Please call me if you have any questions about how to do this. And this is SynthFlow and Abstract API. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope it helps.